Welcome to the Hey Rhona podcast. Let's talk life and leadership. Each week, Rhona talks with high-capacity leaders about how their hardest seasons shape the way they lead and love today. We often keep struggles in the shadows while we lead, but those stories, they shape us. Our goal is to look back and see how we were shaped in the struggle. It's time to ask, what actually grew when life felt dark? Welcome to the conversation.
I don't know if I can say I did the whole rock star thing, but I kind of did. Now I'm a mom of two, but rock and roll is still in me. It's a moment that I'm pouring my life to others and forget about my issues. And nobody knows. But I didn't tell anybody I can do whatever I want with my body because it's fine. And it hurts being lonely, but it's okay. What was helping me get out of my house and just see people. I would draw my body and just put all the areas like, this is where it hurts, God. Of the weight, I can't carry this weight by myself.
Hey, this is Rhona. Over the next 2 weeks, I'm going to be talking with my friend Karen. She's sharing her story of walking through loneliness and experiencing trauma after coming to Christ. She'll share what it was like to lead in this season and the tools that she has found helpful as she's healing from PTSD. This episode may be triggering for some, but it is filled with the hope of God's faithfulness and love that she found available in each season. We're so glad you're here. Welcome to the conversation. For those of you joining us, my friend Karen's joining us today. So I'm going to pitch it to you. And I would love for you to just kind of explain to us what your life looks like when it comes to family, when it comes to leadership, and when it comes to just your career, how that's kind of evolved and where you're at right now.
Well, I first want to say thank you so much for having me in this space. For all of those who don't know Rhona, that I have the privilege to have her in my life as a friend. When I first met you, I think it was like a year plus ago. And I just
at the zoo, I think.
Yeah, it was a park date, and obviously that with your kids running around, you can't have a whole conversation. But what I did notice is like, man, you have such a gentle spirit, and you just ooze out wisdom, So I immediately was like, I want her in my life, and I want to be her friend. So when you told me a couple of weeks ago, I was like, hey, let's do this podcast. I was like, wow, like I am completely honored and thankful for this space. And it came and I told you, it came at the perfect moment because it was just this year. I think God is telling me, okay, now it's time to speak more in detail about your story, because obviously we're always very free about talking about our testimony, how we came to Christ. But then there are all those like hiccups and hurdles and things while you're a Christian that sometimes even as leaders in church, we don't want to share that much, right? Because we sometimes want to portray that we're strong and that we have everything together, and we're all in the same walk of faith, right? Well, I'm a musician. That's what I studied first when I was out of high school. And I soon was signed by Universal Music. So I did that all in my 20s. I was a touring musician, released albums, did the whole, I was in a rock band. So I don't know if I can say I did the whole rock star thing, but I kind of did.
When I saw the video of you with the mohawk the other day, I was like, she's the coolest person ever. I never saw it coming.
Yeah. And now I'm a mom of two, but rock and roll is still in me, that is when I go to music, alternative, indie. And then I became a Christian.
What's your favorite band? Like if you're going to be in that genre, what do you like best?
So that's hard because I'm obsessed. I love music and I listen to so many genres, but I think it's Pink Floyd, super classic. Maybe I can go by decades, Pink Floyd, yeah. Cure, that's like my thing from the 80s, 90s.
Love it.
I don't know. Yeah, it's hard. When you're a musician, you love so much, so many bands, it's hard. But,
it's awesome.
And then I became a Christian at 27.
Okay.
And my life has been completely different since then. And since then, I got married 6 years ago.
Okay.
I have a 4-year-old daughter, Eva, and a 2-year-old son, almost 2-year-old son, Noah. And in the midst of getting married, I also made an album. I just released my album at first Christian album. But with my kind of like take on the music that I love, which is like alternative. So I didn't want to sound like any Christian stuff that I was listening to. So it took a while to like define how I wanted to sound. Yeah. And in all that, I also got a degree in psychology. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's never too late to go back to school, guys.
I love your album so much. Like we've listened to it over and over in the car, cooking dinner, and the kids love it. But I think I told you when I first listened to it, it surprised me because I didn't realize it was going to be like faith-based or Christian or anything like that. And I was just like excited to listen to it. And I was like, oh my gosh, the songs, the lyrics just really got me. And I feel like that I would love to dive into that at some point today too, like how that came about and just kind of that process of where some of those songs were coming from too. Be great.
Yeah. Thank you.
Was that something always in you? You always wanted to be a musician? Was it something you were pursuing from the time you were young?
I just loved entertaining my family, and I loved music. And my dad always listened to like progressive rock, and my mom was listening to classical. And I was always singing. My mom has recordings of me when I was 2, 3, but like singing and on key. Because I have 2 kids, and I'm like, are they singing on key yet? And I'm like, oh yeah, they are. You know, I can hear it. You know, and I just knew. But I think it was age 9 that my parents took me to a concert. I was like, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be on stage, and then I was honestly a little bit like yeah, I was a bad student. I have to say it. I am a great student now as an adult, but as a kid, I was absolutely horrendous. So I just didn't care. I was like, I just wanted to feel and sing and have fun and be active. And school was just not attractive to me. So like, I just didn't care. And the whole time I was like, just focused on music until I graduated. My mom was like, you're going to go to college. I don't know what you're going to do. But she's the one who took me, like picked out the programs, like, and if you love music this much, then this is what you're going to do.
Yeah.
And yeah. I didn't finish. I mean, I signed to a major record label and I could have finished, but I mean, once you're signed and like singing in front of thousands of people, signing autographs, like it kind of like school and college was a little bit too small for me, you know? So, I mean, it's really good to finish.
When you signed, you said that
I was 20, I was 22, 23.
Okay. So you were like in college and then, okay. That's
awesome.
Cool. So maybe dive in, tell us a little bit about that journey, becoming more of an adult. In your 20s, you're an adult already, but like, how was that? How did that unfold?
Yeah, so I can definitely talk. I mean, when I speak about that, it's like, that was definitely the mountaintop of that season of my life. And it was great success, but also it still wasn't fulfilling me. I still felt that emptiness, and I still carried a lot of child wounds and a lot of issues that I had growing up. So even though I was doing everything I ever wanted, when I came to Christ, I was desperate because I still had nothing, you know?
Had you grown up in a church, like in a family of faith, like where there was still some church, or no? Okay.
Not at all. I mean, so I'm originally from Mexico. We traveled a lot. My parents and I were moving every 2 years. So I really didn't have a base or foundation. I was always the new kid. Nothing that my parents, like all the value system, they were just we're just very different. They were very, very conservative, very, very controlling. It was always like, you have to do this because it's the right way to do it. You have to do this because you have to fit in. You have to do this because what will people think? Because you have to be pretty, because you're a girl, and all of that. Since early on, I knew like there's something wrong. Like these are not my values. This is that. All of those things were not in my nature. And my nature was that I don't care what people think. I'm going to do whatever I want. I'm going to be authentic to myself, and I'm going to be a musician, and I just don't care how I look or anything.
Yeah.
So that really was, it was just not, in psychology, call it, it's like not a good fit, like an extremely conservative, controlling parent with a completely like artistic, free spirit.
Yeah.
It was a clash from the beginning. And I remember just feeling loved, but so alone. I just felt so misunderstood, so alone. And there was a lot of toxic. It was definitely a toxic environment. And it was a bad family dynamic. I really can say that. And obviously there has been a lot of healing throughout the years. And after I came to Christ, obviously I've spoken a lot to my mom about certain things, just set a lot of boundaries. And I was kind of like the person in the family that stepped out of that toxicity of like, I'm not going to participate in this. I'm not going to participate in the screaming and the insult. Then the next day, everything's okay, brushing it under the rug. I'm not going to participate on not having conversations, on not asking for forgiveness, and on insults. It's just, I can't, So obviously I think at age 20, I left my house. I just couldn't. The dynamic was so bad with my parents that at age 20, I went and lived with my boyfriend. and I didn't want to, but it's the choice that I had. I was just a poor college kid.
Yeah.
So he lived by himself. I was like, okay, this seems like what is going to rescue me from my parents.
Yeah.
And, but I think before that, there was still a lot of sin in my life. I mean, at 15, started drinking, doing drugs, smoking. And and sin is like that. It's like this snowball that just keeps growing and growing and growing. So even though I was in the music business, I mean, and that's another thing. You're in the music business, the whole like drinking and doing whatever you want is acceptable. Like you're drinking in meetings, you're drinking when you're rehearsing, you're probably drinking when you're on stage. It's a whole lifestyle. And I can't say that everybody's like that in the music industry. Of course, I can't say that. But for me, it was just like a boom of like, I live by myself. I'm 20 and I'm on tour.
Yeah. Well, and you said too that like, even as you were going through all of that, you realize now how much you still had child wounds that you hadn't addressed and talked to. So you think in a sense it was just coping with maybe the fact that you were doing what you wanted versus really pursuing what your parents wanted or things like that subconsciously, even though you had left? Do you feel like there was like pain points there that you were just numbing with that?
Yes. I mean, I think addiction is totally that you just, it's you self-medicate, right? And I also had an eating disorder that started at 13. So it was just a lot. It was self-medicating, but also it's like, they tell you enough, you're a problem child, you're this, and they put so many tags on you. You're like, okay, I'm a problem. Okay. I'll be a problem. That's my attitude. It's like, I'll rebel against you and I'll confirm all these things that you're telling me that I am. Yeah. So I obviously who I thought and all those tags, I believed them, until I came to Christ at 27. And I was like, God, I'm so broken. I was so depressed, so angry, so lost, so wrapped in sin.
How did that happen? Like, what was your connection with church, with God? Like, how did you meet him? If you didn't grow up with that, like as a strong foundation, were you kind of at rock bottom and found him? Or did somebody introduce you? You started coming to God and realizing where you were at?
Yeah, I think it was rock bottom because I just finished with my band. I wanted to go solo and do my own thing. I was living with a boyfriend and then I realized that he was being unfaithful. So that was quite traumatic, even though I knew I wasn't going to marry him. Mm-hmm. And then I just knew that I felt like I just patched up my life with all these values of like, oh, I can do whatever I want with my body because it's mine. And I can do whatever. I'm managing all the drugs and all this stuff. Like I was managing everything. And I still wasn't being fulfilled. And it was rock bottom. And my sister invited me to a conference.
Okay.
And I was by then I was completely, I mean, you're older at 27. You kind of like already have your values, your set ways. And I was a little bit cynical and I was like, well, let's see, maybe if I'll just go and I'll just laugh about this, and I'll just have a story to tell. Something off my bucket list that I already experienced and lived. And these conferences this was in Mexico and they're very different to the conferences that we have here. These are like completely fire. They will tell you all the list of sins that you have to renounce. You have to pray. At the end, they start teaching you how to pray in the spirit and in tongues and people are fun. It's like
charismatic, like Benny Hinn kind of thing. Like, or I should
yeah. I know Jesus
like charismatic kind of thing, not just Pentecostal. There's like another level of like the falling and knocking people over and stuff.
Oh yeah, it's like full on. I don't know Christ. I don't know anything about the church, and it's just like spiritual warfare for 2 days. They ask you to fast for it.
Oh wow!
And I was like, okay, I'll just do it. And I remember my older sister, she was sitting next to me the whole time, just looking and looking. It's like, and she told me I was sitting there because I was so afraid that you were going to just leave because this is so crazy. And I'm like, but I'm crazy, I'm, like God made me rebellious because I mean, obviously that word is just not liked in the Christian aspect, but I feel like God did make me, gave me a certain personality that now I can be rebellious for God, And I even.
So were you scared being there? Like, did it scare you off or do you think it was crazy or were you like, okay, like this is, not what I was expecting? Like,
well,
being there.
A night before the conference, they do have to give you the like, hey, you have to receive Jesus. Because if you don't receive Christ and you're doing all that, it's just because it's spiritual.
Yeah.
So I remember they talked to me like, this is what the conference is going to be about. Go fasting and do this. And they're like, do you accept Christ? And then in there, and it was a Starbucks. And I remember just like bawling and just crying.
Wow.
I was like, my life is never going to be the same. My life is forever changed. And I knew it that day. And that's why I went to the conference, and I was like, for me, it was like my life was such a mess that when they started giving me the structure and the order of like, this is the Bible, this is the word of God, this is what you do with, this is what God wants for you to do with your body. You can't just, you can't sleep around. Like, this is your body's a temple. You can't do drugs. Like all of these things, even though it's just like, they did tell you all the things you couldn't do. For me, it was just like, I needed order. Yeah. I needed a kind father to give me structure in the way that I never had it. And it's really strange because when I started reading my Bible, what I loved the most was Deuteronomy and Leviticus. Like I fell in love. Everybody's like, oh, the Gospels, oh, Jesus, red letters, Jesus. Yeah. I was like, I loved the structure and the order. And that's what spoke to me because my life was so upside down. Yeah. Show me that this is your word, because I think it's just a bunch of people who kind of just wrote this story. Yeah. And it was like, no, this is my word and it'll give you life. And then the whole sexuality, okay, show it to me, like, God, please. And when the Holy Spirit puts that in your heart, you can't deny it.
Yeah, that's cool. Mm-hmm. And I think that it's always just a cool reminder too, like how patient he is with us and how gracious he is with us, that it doesn't have to be instantly, that a lot of times it is a process. Sometimes for the rest of our lives, like there's things that we continue to wrestle with and have to come back and surrender it to him. But then at the same time, when we completely surrender, he also will meet us there a lot of times and just completely give us freedom too. So it's just an interesting balance of the way he works with us and with our hearts to change our hearts. And I was talking to someone the other day and she was sharing how she went into prayer and fasting for like our church will do prayer and fasting for 21 days. And she said she went in not really thinking anything about it, but she gave up alcohol. And then at the end of the thing, when she got ready to drink again, like she had no desire to, like, and she was like, I know that doesn't happen for everybody, but for me, like, it's just been this complete like transformation in my life because I drink all the time, like, and she was like, and I didn't think anything about it. And I was just giving it up for the fast. But then in the end, like how there was just this complete shift in like the desires in her heart and not everybody's using things for the same reasons. Mm-hmm. It's open to numb and, but we are, sometimes we don't even realize it. And then he'll come and reveal that to us unexpectedly. And I think that's really, really cool. And just shows how personal he is, like when he's working in our hearts and leading us. So it's like now from that stage of like becoming a new Christian and just what was that journey like to getting you to where you are today? I know you mentioned that it took you a while to get this album out and you've had kids in the process and gotten married. And what are some things that you've gone through in that process with your walk with God and now in your career developing this new album?
Well, that first year that I became a Christian, I heard clearly from God, like, I want you to fast for music. And it was a whole year of not listening to anything but worship music, which is really tough. Yeah. But it did get me into this, like, is there a Christian band that sounds like Radiohead? Is there a Christian band that sounds like,
that's awesome.
The Killers, like this? I struggled. I really, really struggled because that was my love and it's what defined me. Yeah. So completely stepping away from the industry, like what's happening, not reading any blogs, articles or anything, not seeing anything in TV, not listening to radio or whatever, or, for a whole year. I really thought I needed to, like, my identity was based on the fact that I was a musician and people knew me. And I just needed to really focus on the identity that I had in Christ and just be really loved by my Father and really understand that if I sing in front of one person or 1,000, I'm still the same person, and I think that has been, I've been a Christian now for like 15 years and it's crazy. It's wild. Like, where do I begin? If you do music professionally, then become a Christian. You don't know if you want to do Christian music. And then it really is a whole industry in itself. It's completely different. The way it works is I didn't know if I wanted to do music for God or really positive music. So I just kept writing and writing and writing. Then I moved to Los Angeles. I kept writing. I encountered like a lot of hurdles in LA, but a lot of amazing things. I met incredible people. And the whole time I was just, single, very, very single. That single walk for that long time. If they would have told me you're going to be single for 7 years, I'd be like, I don't think so. I don't want to be that single for that long. But honestly, now I just cherish those years because I just had all the time in the world to be with God, to let him build my character and to and to serve him. Just that singleness is just such a beautiful, beautiful season. I loved it. I enjoyed it so much. And sometimes I missed all that time that I had because now as a wife and a mom, you just serve it, but it's a little bit different. The day has 24 hours.
I feel like he uses family and the kids to like reveal all the things that we thought we had together.
Mm-hmm.
It all starts showing up. But then at the same time, learning to honor that season and know that at the end of the day, like God's love for me isn't just based on that performance of getting up at a certain time. It turns into more of like a continual thing. What are some things that you can see were reoccurring limiting beliefs that emerged that may have come from when you were younger, or they may have come from specific things you went through? But what are some things that you feel like you've had to face head on? And
I think definitely the hardest thing is to die to your will and to understand the seasons. I think there's just some wisdom that comes with time and age. And I don't know if it's limiting belief, but I think it is. The wanting everything so fast and wanting something now and not knowing and understanding how to wait. It's beautiful when you learn how to wait. It's beautiful when you learn how to endure and just face the difficulty. I think that I've had many times to just go all in the grief, in the anger, in the uncomfortable feelings. I think when you're uncomfortable, that's when you grow. And I think that's something that I really want to teach my children early on. Things not everything's easy, not everything's fast. And you have to, and you have to face the difficult, hard feelings of, man, I am so lonely right now. I'm alone. I don't have a partner and it hurts being lonely, but it's okay. And that's great. Like being lonely, it's a good thing. It's like, my body and my emotions are showing me that I want to get married. So that's great. God, I give you my loneliness and just give me joy for today, for the season, and joy and grace for the season.
What are some other things that you feel like have really shaped your heart towards people as you're leading?
Well, I think those 7 years that I was single, it was a desert. I definitely lived a desert financially. I didn't have a partner. I was in between moving from LA to Miami and Mexico. There was a desert in my career, even though I worked I gave it my all. I just felt I was hitting like a wall, And then at the end of those, and I kind of knew, like by year 4, I'm like, this is going to last 7 years. I kind of knew. In VU, singing in worship, leading a crew. I was just like, I felt it was like, this is my moment. Like, I'm really just ready to meet my partner. Mm-hmm. And in 2016, I was raped. So in the moment of, I was about to turn, it was a day before my birthday. I was about to turn 34 and I was raped. And nobody prepares you for that. And the first thing I did, I promised myself, I was like, okay, I know I'm going to go through a season of grief because I've already done it. I know I'm going to be angry. I know I'm going to be depressed. I know I need therapy. I went all in. I did go to the authorities. I fought for a year with detectives and nothing happened. Nothing came of that. And I made a promise and it was like, God is good to me. Mm-hmm. I kind of felt that God saved my life. I kind of felt that I was supposed to die. And it was hard to sustain that, obviously, because your mind and your mind tries to process things. Yeah. And it was a year that I just gave myself into healing, going through severe PTSD, completely just afraid of going out, even social. I didn't really go to any social situations. I was leading crew and I didn't stop for that year because I knew that crew was what was helping me get out of my house and just see people in a safe environment. But I didn't tell anybody because I was the crew leader. That was a moment that I'm pouring my life to others and forget about my issues. And nobody knows, and they were like, oh man, you're the best crew leader. We did this and we did. I'm like, yeah, you guys are the best crew because I survived, a little bit because of them. Yeah. And what got me through was like, today is better than yesterday and tomorrow's going to be better than today. Mm-hmm. And then I would just celebrate everything. I got out of bed today. Mm-hmm. I showered today. I went and gave 2 voice lessons and I understood that whatever my that it was like, I understood that PTSD was like a sore in my brain. It's like when you have an accident, you break your leg, you see the sore and you can't walk and you have to go to therapy. And it's like 3 months or 6 months or whatever long it is. And for me, it was like, that's what happened to my brain. I can't see what happened, but my brain, it wasn't working. Like my memory was wrong. There's a lot of things I've forgotten since then, just of a season, names of people, dumb things like names of people, and then big things. I don't know, just like my memory was fuzzy. And then I remember losing my car for like hours and it just sitting there and be like, God, I lost my car, like in a parking lot, and just sitting there and just be like, okay, one day I won't forget where my car is.
Yeah.
So there's a season to endure.
So powerful, like the things that you were putting in place already for your mindsets and how you were going to celebrate daily, and those small things that you were putting in place. That's so powerful because you were like exercising the good areas of your brain. And I feel like when we're going through PTSD or we're in those moments where we're stuck and we can't find things or lose our car, or I know I've had times where like I've just been lost on the road with the kids in those bad seasons. And I would be like driving and I would be like, and that was before we had GPS on the phone all the time, or it wasn't like, we didn't have like an Apple. I don't know if I even had my Apple phone then, but it wasn't like as common to set the GPS, but I would just like have a hard time getting home and I would be driving like, okay, I've got to like, and I couldn't process it. And it would be so scary, but being able to lean back into those other things that you had established help to reprocess that and just exercise your brain and being gentle with yourself in that season.
Yeah.
What are some other things that you feel like helped you navigate that to where you are today? Is there something other than community and other than gratitude and just keeping life at a sustainable pace? Is there something else you can see that really helped you heal in that season?
I think, a lot of people will say, but journaling. I picked up journaling and I just wrote everything, wrote all of my prayers, wrote all of my feelings, wrote letters to everybody that I need to write letters. There were moments that the grief was so hard and I could feel it in my body. My body was in pain because I was just so sad. Mm-hmm. And I would draw my body and just put all the areas like, this is where it hurts, God. And it hurts because of this, of the weight. I can't carry this weight by myself. And then I would draw my body healed and whole by the grace of God. And it's like, this is how my body and this is who I am restored. I remember writing a list saying what my body was for. My body was to create life. My body is beautiful. My body is the temple of the Holy Spirit. My body's for God. Just a list. My body's not for abuse,
Karen's story is not over. Keep listening as she shares tools she found helpful in the healing process and how she held on to a hope that was heavy in this season. Sometimes hope feels heavy and it keeps us anchored as we heal. Keep listening to part 2 of Karen's story.
Do you ever feel like personal development isn't getting to the root? Primal Question Coaching takes a different approach. Take Rhona's free Primal Question Assessment at heyrhona.com. and join our free monthly call, both linked in the show notes. If you're struggling, reach out to a friend, find a therapist, or connect with Rhona at hey.rhona. If you've enjoyed listening, share it and leave a 5-star review. Rhona reads everyone. Until next time, cheers to hope and healing.